Welcome to day 3 of our Maryland Day 2021 celebration. Today we're going to be talking about the immigrant experience in Anne Arundel County with excerpts from the book Strawberry, Peas, and Beans by Will Mumford. The book can be bought through our website or at any of our 3 locations here at the Benson Hammond House in Linthicum, the Keithy Library in Glen Burnie, or the Shop at Jones Station in Severna Park. So let's go ahead and get started. From the 1840s through the next 100 years, truck farming was the dominant industry in the northern part of Anne Arundel County. Farmers grew vegetables and small fruits to supply the markets of Baltimore, and later, Anne Arundel produce was shipped as far north as Montreal and as far west as Denver. After the end of the Civil War and emancipation, the populations at many of the farms in Anne Arundel County changed. Though some farms had enslaved workers, not all did, and those that did have enslaved people, some only had 1 or 2 workers, or maybe a single family of workers that lived on the property. Many smaller farms had family that worked the fields, including extended family. The sons of city-dwelling relatives or those coming down from farther north would come and stay and work alongside the farm worker and his family. Throughout the truck farming period in Anne Arundel County, farms were basically self-sufficient. The farms produced their own food as a necessary addition to their truck farming. Most farms had their own garden area for vegetables and fruits, much of which was canned or preserved for future use. The garden area was usually maintained by the women of the household. Most farms had a few cows for dairy products and beef, chickens for eggs and meat, and turkeys and pigs for meat. Each family member had specific chores which contributed to the livelihood of the family. Keeping food on the table was the number 1 priority. The reality of the situation after the war brought about the need to find new supplies of workers. Often, these people came to work just during the planting and growing season and on into the picking. Regardless of when they worked, it was backbreaking with long hours in the hot sun. But that is what had to be done. If you were to be a farmer or a laborer during this time, life was just not easy for you. With the need to locate workers, some farmers would send a wagon into Baltimore City to gather and bring people out to stay in shanties and shacks on their land. These people would sometimes bring their families with them and stay the whole season. The wives and children would work the fields too. While this may seem strange to us by today's standards, times were very different, and small children not only worked the fields, they also worked in businesses in town side by side with their parents and siblings. Other workers had employment in the canneries or the great market houses in Baltimore City and would come out to pick on the weekends. Often, they felt that working in the fields might someday afford them the possibility of one day owning their own farms. Many of these workers were immigrants, arriving here from places like Germany, Bohemia, and Poland. Oftentimes, they grew up farming in their homelands, so were familiar with what was expected of them. In the Republican and Maryland State Capitol newspaper, dated June 15, 1872, ran the following news item. German labor. Mr. James Legg of our city, Annapolis, has secured through the immigrant agent at Baltimore some 30 German laborers for his truck farm in this county, to which place they were sent and assigned to their several duties on Tuesday last. Mr. Legg, we learn, is much pleased with their mode of working and pronounces them an industrious and thrifty set of people. By 1870, There were over 80,000 foreign-born white citizens in Maryland, and by 1910, that had increased to over 100,000. The immigrants were the answer to the truck farmers' labor problems, and the migration to the country farms was eagerly sought by the immigrants. The system became an annual affair, and at its peak, over 10,000 immigrants migrated to the Anne Arundel truck farms. Times weren't always easy between the farmers and the workers. Disputes over rates of pay, of course, arose on occasion. If the market price for certain crops would dip, and the workers were occasionally expected to take a cut in pay, this would not go over well. But for the most part, people were glad to have work and a source of regular income. And in regards to pay, as many of you might be aware who have visited the Benson Hammond House, one method of payment to the workers were picker checks. These small tokens would be given in exchange for crops picked and could be used in local stores to purchase goods. The tokens were stamped with the initials of the farm owner and had notations of amounts to represent the amount picked. The shapes also showed the types of crops picked. So I'm going to stop here in hopes that I have whetted your appetite to learn more about this fascinating time period and the people who lived and worked in our beautiful county so long ago. The Benson Hammond House is open on the second and fourth Saturdays of the month between March and November. We have a representation of life during the 1800s and 1900s, the heyday of farming in this area. Set a time to come and visit and learn more. I'm Jan Baker of the Anne Arundel County Historical Society, and we invite you to join us as we step back in time to explore the farming life in our county and our state. Thank you for giving us some time. Hello, welcome to the Benson Hammond House. We are celebrating Maryland Day 2021 with a virtual event on Friday, March 19th, Saturday, March 20th, and Sunday, March 21st. Tune in to view a video on a different topic each day. Then come in person on Saturday, March 27th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. and again on Sunday, March 28th from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. We will be featuring $1 self-guided tours through the house. We are located at 7101 Aviation Boulevard in Linthicum, and see us on our Facebook page, our Instagram, our website, and on our YouTube channel, Benson Hammond. Happy birthday, Maryland. Come out and celebrate with us.